Hello, we're here to talk about lockdown and severe weather procedures. In case of any emergency, teachers should reference their Emergency Operations Classroom Procedures binder and their Know and Go laminated sheets. If you're missing one, make sure you contact Tracy Hambrick. We're going to first talk about lockdown procedures. A lockdown is when there is an armed intruder, there's someone suspected to have a weapon on campus but is not limited to firearms, a hostile individual, and or a threat against a specific individual, program, or event. Before we start talking about what we need to do if there's a lockdown procedure, we need to address the fact that we're always in a soft lockdown. That means that all teachers must have their doors locked and closed at all times except during passing periods. This makes it much easier to lock down later on because your door will be completely locked. And all students and staff should wear their IDs at all times. This is to prevent people that are just outside of our school from coming in. Now let's talk about what we need to do if there is a lockdown. When there is a lockdown, there's going to be an announcement or a threat saying, hey, there's a lockdown. If there is a lockdown, there's two options. The first one is to avoid, meaning that you need to run. The second option is to deny access and defend. So both of them at the same time. You have to either take one or the other depending on where you're located and wait until the all clear has been set. The first option is to avoid, meaning that you can evacuate your room because it is near an exterior exit and the threat is not anywhere near your room. That means that you're going to take the exit that has the safest route and you're going to move safely and quickly to the predetermined rally point out of sight line from the building. We're going to cover these rally points in the next slide. If you have a secondary or outside door, use it, meaning places like ag, art, dance, band, gyms, gymnastic, and the field house, they should clear out the rooms and get out as fast as they can. These are the rally points that you can meet in whenever you have evacuated. The first one is the baseball field. This is for places like the front office and the counselor's office and all the classrooms located in the south of the rotunda. The next one is the softball field. It is for places like the upstairs offices and all the classrooms that are located upstairs. And last is the football field. This is for downstairs offices, library, and all downstairs classrooms that are located in the north of the rotunda, and portable building. The second option is to deny and defend. So if you're unable to exit when the announcement is made, you might have to stay in your location to stay safe instead of running. Remember that you need to stop doing everything you're currently doing, turn off all the lights and electronic equipment, lock and barricade the door, and go to your designated spot in the classroom that is out of view from all windows. When you're also using option number 2, make sure that all your blinds are closed on the outside windows. Do not cover your hallway door window. Increase your hiding space by putting a border or some kind of paper around the door frame and hide in an inner room or closet if you have one, like especially in the science classrooms. Lock and barricade your door and the connecting doors. Here you guys can see a picture of my classroom. You can see that my windows have their blinds closed. I have my window completely open because I took a picture from the outside. And you have the increasing of the hiding space by putting that border around the door. Step number 1, when your option is to deny and defend, is to stop doing everything you're currently doing and go turn off the lights. When the announcement is made, stop everything. Turn off all the lights, the computers, the projectors, and any other equipment that might have light. This means that there should be no cell phone or laptop use during this time, as the glow can be seen through the windows and tells the threat that the room is occupied. Step number 2 is to barricade the door. So help your teacher barricade their door. Listen to their instructions because a lot of times it might be different based on what kind of door they have. These are some examples of the different barricades that you can have depending on what kind of door your teacher has. So for example, the first two pictures show an inward opening door where you have to put stuff to prevent the person from being able to push inside. The next three pictures show an outward opening door, meaning that you have to put things to prevent the person from pulling the door open. So offer your teacher to help, but make sure you listen to their instructions on how to barricade. Step number 3 is to make sure that no one is in sight, meaning students and staff. So go to your designated spot in the classroom that is out of view from all the windows. Be quiet and make sure that there's no peeking outside. So here you can see me running to the corner of my classroom on the same wall that my door is in, so that when they peek in, they cannot see me. Make sure that you're in a place that people cannot see you through the window. Remember that the second part of option number 2 is to defend. So make sure that you're prepared to fight. You have the right to defend yourself. Don't just hide, you need to fight. All staff and students must be ready to fight in case a barricade is breached. Teachers should be near the door with some kind of weapon, and students should be armed with a classroom item and be ready to fight. So things like calculators and books, y'all can throw those, or larger items can be used to defend or strike. So if you have other options, use those. If you know that it's a drill, make sure that you only simulate the fighting. Just pretend to fight. But if it's a real one, make sure you fight like your life depends on it. If this is a drill, you will know the drill is over once the door is open with a key and a police officer identifies themselves. So make sure you allow access and you listen for more instructions. Drills are over only when you hear the all clear in the announcements, meaning that if the bell rings for class to change prior to the all clear, do not leave your class, even if your room has been opened by a police officer. Make sure you remain quiet and out of sight until the police officer has opened the door with a key and has identified themselves. Otherwise, it could be anyone else knocking or asking to come in. So make sure you do not open the door or talk. It could be a trick. Finally, there's some special considerations to think about. What if you're not in the classroom when there's a lockdown? For example, you're in the bathroom or you're in the library. Make sure you still follow the same exact steps. Avoid if you can, and deny and defend if necessary. What if there's a substitute teacher that day that you're having the drill? Make sure you still follow the exact same procedures and try to avoid if possible, and deny and defend if that's the only choice. Now we're going to go over the procedures for severe weather, meaning that there's a tornado or conditions favorable to tornadoes. When there is a possibility for a tornado, there will be an announcement made. We're going to close all the doors, take your class emergency bucket with you, move to the designated sheltering room or area, and remain quietly seated until the all clear has been set. Now we're going to go through each of these steps and expand upon them. Step number 1 is to close all doors, meaning that we need to close and lock all exterior doors and windows, close classroom and office doors. During an actual event, we're going to close the accordion doors in the hallways, but during a drill, they will not be closed. So if it's a real one and the fire doors come down, the accordion doors come down, make sure that you're sitting within those areas. As you're leaving your classroom, make sure that you take the class's emergency bucket with you, just as if it was a fire drill. The next step is to move to their designated sheltering area. It depends on where your teacher's classroom is located. If a teacher does not know which designated area they have, they can use the following URL to find their designated area. Designated areas are normally away from exterior doors. They're in the interior hallways. They do not shelter anyone within 30 feet of an exit door or an external window. And designated areas are always found in the ground floor, so downstairs. You can see here from the GIF that most classrooms are located within 30 feet of a window. So when we have drills or we have an actual severe weather event, you're going to have to move a lot of people downstairs and away from glass doors and windows. So the last step is to remain quietly seated until the all clear has been said. So make sure that you move quickly and quietly into each room or designated area. Remain seated until further instructions are given. And sit down on the floor against the walls and in lines. And continue sitting in rows, not standing. During this type of event, you may also not be signed out of the school by your parents. So remain in the designated shelter area until the all clear or further instructions are given. Once the all clear is given, staff will escort you back to your class. They're going to take attendance again to report any missing students, and in the event that a building experiences damage, make sure that you evacuate to a safer part of the building or completely out of the building. And first aid will be administered as needed. So this concludes our video on lockdown and severe weather procedures.